All right. Hi, everybody. We're back. Welcome to, I guess, the first episode of this Earth's Mightiest Comics reboot, requel, relaunch, whatever. It's volume 2.
Rebrand.
Yeah, right. This is the first episode of this. What we're doing, we're going to be talking about new comics this time, new comics that are currently in the process of coming out. If you have been a longtime subscriber of the channel, then you would probably remember the original Earth's Mightiest Comics series, where we would go and read a bunch of classic Marvel comics and talk about those, which I would still like to do at some point again if we ever did a time. But ultimately, that is more time consuming than this series will end up being. And since we are both in university, we don't have that much time to be doing editing and recording and all that stuff. So this is just kind of a way we can still talk about comics without having to do as extensive editing and stuff. So today, we're going to be talking about the comics that came out on the week of June 14th. Every Wednesday, new comics come out. We record on Saturday. Hopefully, the episodes by Sunday or Monday. And so we have a couple of comics we'll be talking about. We each read 5 this week.
Yes.
I have been reading modern comics now as they come out per week for about a year at this point. So all the ones I'm talking about came out this week. Sebastian has only just kind of started getting into some of the modern comics that we're talking about. So he'll be going over some of the same series that are coming out right now, but from, kind of the starts of the volumes as he's catching up. So yeah, do you want to start out here?
Yeah, all right. I'll start out. Yeah, that's fine with me. I'll start out with the one that I understood the least. Because obviously I started at the very end of the freaking series. But yeah, I'll talk about Captain America Cold War Omega. All right. So from what I remember from this one, yeah. All right. Well, I don't even know where to start.
What did you think of it overall? Like, did you like it or not?
Well, okay. So let me think. Considering I didn't understand the story, I won't comment on that at all. But the artwork itself, I thought was good.
Yeah.
Considering I don't know. I've never really. I know. I'll say it's good. Story-wise, I'll comment on it a little bit. Yes, kind of. Towards the end of after reading it, towards the end, I didn't realize that Steve Rogers had a son.
This is news to me too.
Yeah, dude, I don't. This is awesome stuff. Apparently, Bucky's bad now. What else? Oh my God, there was a Sharon Carter has this weird bat and skull thing going on. That was interesting. What else? There's a war going on.
Yeah, so I did buy this one. I haven't read it yet because I'm not caught up on the current Captain America series. I was looking through some of it because I know this series started out as kind of being billed as a Sam Wilson Captain America versus Steve Rogers Captain America fight. But looking through the first couple of pages, there were demons everywhere, and I was like, what the fuck has this turned into?
Yeah. Yeah, so they go to a different universe or something like that. I think it's still on Earth. It's just messed up. But yeah, Misty Knight's in here. I didn't realize that was Misty Knight for the longest time until someone said Misty. I was like, that's what that is. There's a wolf that's evil.
The White Wolf. I know the White
Wolf. White Wolf. I thought that was Bucky's new name, but apparently it's
that's his MCU name, I believe.
Yeah, it is. So that's why I was like, oh, this is apparently not Peggy. Peggy. Yeah, Peggy's evil.
Yeah. I vaguely knew that. Yeah.
I was like, what the? I thought she was Madam Hydra or something because she's green and shit, but nah, she's just a whole new thing. Steve's son is I don't do. I was so lost reading this. But yeah, I mean, hey, if you're actually caught up and you understand this, then props on you. I fucking don't.
I'm not caught up. So for context for you, this event, Cold War, is spun out of the 2 Captain America series that have been going on for about a year now. One, which is Steve Rogers, is called Captain America Sentinel of Liberty. The other is the Sam Wilson one, which is Captain America Symbol of Truth. I think I'm 6 issues into both of them. I definitely prefer the Sam one over the Steve one. But so now essentially you have jumped in. There are only 3 more issues left in this run before it's wrapped up. So you have jumped in right at the right at the back end of this whole thing.
End. Yeah, dude. It was straight lost.
Yeah. Do you have anything else to say about it, or do you just want to give it a number score? Or I don't know. This is a new format for us.
This is a new format for us. Let me think about this. All right, you know what? I'll do it in terms of yeah. Okay, I'll give it a number score here. We'll keep it out of our 10 still till to 10. I'm gonna give it a 6.
Okay. Yeah. I hear this event is mostly just okay. From what I have heard of it.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I will catch up. I'm planning to read it. I have the entire event.
Wait, so Captain America, the Steve Rogers one, that's 750.
No, so what that is so the Steve Rogers one has actually wrapped up. That is a different kind of I just kind of a one shot. The numbering scheme for Marvel is really weird right now, but that is the Captain America Legacy numbering. So that's if they had counted every Captain America from the beginning, this would have been the 750th issue. Yeah.
Okay.
But in terms of actual this run, this would be chapter 14 or something.
For Symbol of Truth, the next one after this one apparently is 14.
Yeah, and then they both combine in Captain America 750, and then there's Captain America Finale, which I believe is in August, and then that's the end of this run.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay.
All right. I'm going to move on to the first one I read. I guess I'll start with Void Rivals #1. This is an Image comic series from Robert Kirkman, who most people would probably know. I mean, if you read comics, you know who Robert Kirkman is. He is the co-creator of both Invincible and the Walking Dead comics. And then the artist on this also is Lorenzo De Felici. So yeah, I generally liked this. I think this is partially because there was a real big twist, which I guess I think the twist leaked a couple of days before the issue came out. I did not see any of that, and so Sebastian, do you care if I do a quick spoil on this?
No, you spoil it all you want, man.
Okay,
I'll read it still.
This takes place in the Transformers and G.I. Joe universe, which I was not expecting, and then suddenly just Jetfire just shows up. I was like, what the fuck? So that really took me off guard, but it was cool. I think the art's pretty good. Yeah, I mean, Robert Kirkman, he's been in this business for a long ass time now.
Yeah.
And he knows how to write comics. So this is not my favorite debut of his. I think Invincible had a stronger start, but I still think it was pretty solid. I'd give it maybe a 7 out of 10. I'm gonna plan to keep reading this. So for now, I think it was solid.
Yeah. All right. Well, moving on to my next one. I read X-Men Red.
Yes. This is the best X-Men series that's currently going on right now, by the way.
I've enjoyed it so far from the one chapter I actually read. I thought it was pretty interesting. Again, lore heavy, so I had a catching up to do. I didn't understand enough about the X-Men to know in general.
Even still, though, there's a lot of stuff that's happened recently.
But there was a lot of stuff.
Yeah, the mutants can resurrect themselves now. Also, they have a new island called Krakoa on Earth, and they've terraformed Mars, and it's called Arakko now. If you're not caught up on this stuff, it's like, whoa, this is a lot of information to take in at once.
Yeah, they kept saying Krakoa. I didn't know what that was. Now I know it's an island. I figured out Arakko was Mars.
Yeah.
I didn't know they could just resurrect themselves.
Yeah, so they have this group of 5 mutants. They call themselves the Five, and essentially through combining their powers, they are able to, and then also Professor X has backups of every mutant's mind that he stores in Cerebro, and then so the 5 mutants can make a new mutant body they call a husk, and then Professor X can implant via Cerebro the mind of the mutant and all the memories and everything into that husk, and then the mutant is back.
Huh. Okay. Well, apparently Storm is like the queen, but she doesn't like to call herself the Queen of
Yeah,
Mars.
she's the Queen Regent. Yeah.
Yeah. And they're gonna form like the new X-Men, but for Mars.
Right.
But they don't want to be called X-Men.
Yeah. Yeah, the X-Men are
Yeah.
they're going through some shit right now on Earth.
Yeah. Yeah. And Storm was fighting herself too.
I
That
don't
was like
remember that.
that was like at the very beginning. She was like
Okay.
fighting. At least it looked like Storm. I
Yeah.
don't know, man. But this is the first one I'm reading with Sunspot, so that's cool.
Oh yeah. Oh my God. So
Sunspot.
I don't want to spoil anything because I know you're reading it, but X-Men Red 3 has two of the coolest. It's one of the best comics I've read in the past like year. Full stop.
Yeah.
It's got two moments that are just so fucking cool. It just was like unbelievable. One involving Sunspot, the other involving Magneto. It's so good.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, yeah. No, I mean I've liked it so far. This one I actually really enjoyed. Like the beginning, I was like a bit like, what the fuck's going on? But then as I
Yeah.
read more, I was like, okay, it like explains a little bit, and so I was like, okay, and I actually really enjoyed it. Um, I'd give this one, I'd give this one like, I'd probably give this one like a 6.5.
Okay. Yeah, I do think, to be fair, I think the first issue of X-Men Red is one of the worst issues of the series thus far. It just has a lot of setup to do.
Yeah.
But the series is great. It's also written by Al Ewing, who wrote The Immortal Hulk, which, as you know, Sebastian, is one of my favorite series ever. So yeah, I love X-Men Red. I'm not caught up on it. I've read the first 7 issues, but I think they're all great. Okay, next up, I read another series from Image. This is one that I kind of just. This was a pretty spontaneous pickup. I wasn't planning to pick this one up when I went in, but I thought the premise was interesting, so I ended up picking it up. It's called Haunt You to the End.
Yeah.
The writer's a guy named Ryan Cady, and the art is by Andrea Muddy. I have not heard of any of either of these two people before.
Yeah.
And so I guess I'll just read the synopsis here real quick. It's a ghost story for the end of the world. In a not so far future, rife with climate disasters and worldwide instability, an eccentric billionaire and his crew, a disgraced journalist, a radical doctor, a TV demonologist, and a squad of hard-bitten military contractors set out to prove the existence of life after death. But even if their mission is a success, the truth behind the most haunted place on Earth may not be the comforting revelation the world is hoping for. I thought that sounded cool. I read the issue. I didn't like it very much.
Oh.
It wasn't terrible. It's just, again, this is a lot of setup, and
Okay.
it's a horror comic ultimately. So I was hoping for a little bit more to draw me in right off the bat. There's not a whole lot that's going on. It's basically just the characters get on a plane, they go to an island, and they crash land, and like that's it.
Okay.
So I don't know. I'm not currently kind of planning to stick with this one. Maybe I'll give it one more issue. The art's kind of cool. I think the colors that are used are kind of strange. It's very like fuzzy, blurry kind of colors, but the pencils themselves are good.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know. It's far from the worst comic I've ever read. It's fine, but as someone who is constantly looking to try to trim stuff from my pull list, this is one that I am not super into, and I'm very seriously considering dropping this one. So ultimately, this is not I don't really recommend this one. I'd give it like a, I don't know, maybe like a 5.5 out of 10 or something. I think there was probably a little bit more good than bad, but ultimately this issue was just nothing to me. So
yeah, gotcha. All right. So the next one I read was Black Panther, #1. Ultimately, I did not like this one. I think it was literally just setup. It was pure setup.
Yeah.
It was really boring to read. It was just a lot of him saying "my city," literally. A lot of it was just saying "my city." Like, what do I do and shit like that. It was really, really boring. Towards the end, it introduced someone, frick if I know who. And yeah, it was just literally, apparently T'Challa's been banished.
I did know that. I read a little bit of the previous run where that happened, but
yeah, and he was back in there. Or it's like, it's a new city. Okay, so a king without a crown defends in Wakandan city that bears his father's thrones, Birnin Chichaka. But yeah, I did not really like this one.
yeah,
I thought the art style was pretty cool though. I didn't hate the art style.
yeah.
A lot of lights, like very bright, very vibrant, a lot of different colors.
Hmm.
But ultimately for me it was just the story. Just didn't know.
Yeah. Yeah, I thought about picking this one up. I kind of went back and forth on it. I ultimately, and I like Black Panther as a character, but I didn't really enjoy what I read of the last run. And I am not familiar with the writer on this really at all. It's written by Eve Ewing, no relation to Al Ewing as far as I'm aware. But I don't know. I mean, looking at League of Comic Geeks, it seems like more or less people liked it. It's got a 93% based on like the Rotten Tomatoes score with a 3.9 average rating. That's definitely not bad, but again, it's just like I have a lot of comics that I'm buying, and I didn't want to add another series unless I hear it's really good or like it's really essential to other series that I'm reading. Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you have a score for this one?
Yeah, no, I was gonna give it a probably a 5.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a shame. It'd be nice for T'Challa to have a good series again, but I don't know. And maybe this one's good. Maybe this one will turn around. It's very
maybe
obviously, but
like I said, this first one literally was just pure setup.
Okay, the next one I read. This is my favorite one I read this week. Green Lantern 2, issue number 2.
I saw that one.
This series continues to be good. The first issue was great, and well, first issue was good. I wouldn't say it was great, and this one was also very good. This one is written by Jeremy Adams, who I think just finished his run on the Flash. People were not happy about that because he was DC just kind of shunted him off the Flash. Apparently, I think he was not planning to leave, but DC was like, no, we're doing a new relaunch, so you should go write Green Lantern instead, or something. But yeah, I mean, I didn't read his Flash run, but this so far has been really solid. I would definitely recommend it to you, Sebastian, at least, because it's early enough that you could very easily jump in. Yeah, it's solid. The art is fantastic. I will say that it's interesting. Not a whole lot has really happened in this run so far. It's kind of just setting up where Hal is at in his life. Because essentially the setup is that Earth has been quarantined by the Green Lantern Corps. They're like, no lanterns can get in or out. Nobody, period, can get in or out. And so that's kind of the driving mystery is like, why have they quarantined the area? What's going on with the Corps? So yeah, and so it's just kind of Hal getting back used to his life as Earth's Green Lantern instead of being out in space all the time. Yeah. And Sinestro is involved somehow. He was in the first issue briefly. Yeah, just solid. Also, there's a backup story written by Philip Kennedy Johnson about John Stewart. Philip Johnson is going to be writing a John Stewart Green Lantern series coming up in October, I believe. So this is kind of setting that up through this backup feature here.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I don't know. I like this series a lot. I think it's good. I probably am going to go with an 8.5 out of 10, I would say.
All right. So, well, the next one I read was Extreme Venomverse. And so far, all right. So the first one, it's basically, it was three separate stories.
Yeah, it's an anthology, right?
Yeah. So they separated it into 3 separate stories, each with different like people, characters. I don't remember the first one that much. Second one was about like a son that Eddie and Anne had that was born with the Venom symbiote, and he like went out of control, and so they had to like calm him down, and now they're gonna teach him how to control the Venom symbiote. And then the third one was like a Venom symbiote that was contained inside of like a sword, and some dude found the sword, and now he became this Venom symbiote.
Yeah, the Venom Samurai. Yeah,
that one. Yeah.
So I haven't read
And
it. I'm just looking at the description. I guess the first one was Eddie Brock as Spider-Man is what this says.
yes, that's what it was. That one, it was, yeah, no, that's probably why I didn't really enjoy that one that much. But the other two were pretty good stories, I think. So it's apparently about somebody that's like tracking down and like destroying all of the Venom symbiotes, and so
Yeah.
Anne is from like a different one. It's like bringing them all together, I guess. But yeah, so far, I mean, it was set up, but in a way where they actually told their own stories as well, so it
Right.
wasn't terrible. But I would give this one probably like a 7 out of 10.
Do you have individual grades for each of the stories as well?
Okay. Yeah, I could do that real quick. First one, I'd probably give that one probably like a 5.5. Second one, that one I'd give like I'd give that one a 7, and then the third one I'd give like a 6.5.
Okay. Yeah, Venom, Samurai Venom sounds cool. That's something I'm interested in.
Yeah.
The first story, the Spider-Man one, that is written by Ryan North, who is currently writing the Fantastic Four run, which is a series that I'm constantly switching between whether or not I'm gonna drop it or not. It's like every other issue, I'm like, I'm dropping this, but then I read the next one, I'm like, oh, that was actually good. So
But we
I
know
can't
how I
decide
feel
whether.
about the Fantastic Four comics.
I love the Fantastic Four as characters. Their comics are often not very good.
As characters, I think they're great. I still have I think I'm still like I'm more negative about their comics than positive still.
Yeah, you also, to be fair, you've not read some of the better ones though.
Yep, that is true.
Yeah. Yeah, so this is to your point. It's interesting that you say about the whole bringing all the symbiotes together from different universes because I didn't think they would directly address it, but this is part of a event that's currently ongoing called Summer of Symbiotes, which is there's a bunch of symbiote related series that are going on right now. And they're all going to lead into a miniseries in August, I believe, or July and August called Death of the Venomverse, which I think Null might be coming back for that. So it's kind of, so I guess this is kind of, I was curious as to whether or not this actually be something that ties into that or not, or if it's just kind of its own thing. And so I guess it sounds like it will be.
Yeah.
So yeah, I haven't read this one. It's in my stack. I will get to it eventually, but my stack is really big, so it might take me a while. Okay. My next one I read was Moon Knight 24. I think I'm about ready to be done with this run. I have read all the issues of it up to this point. I started buying it with issue 14, I want to say. It's not bad. It's written by Jed McKay, who I generally like. The artist on this one is Federico Sabatini, but a lot of I think the series' main artist is Alessandro Cappuccio. I definitely prefer Cappuccio's art to Sabatini. That being said, they're both fine. This issue deals with Moon Knight versus Morpheus, but not the Morpheus from DC, who's the Sandman. This is a different Morpheus, obviously. I think this one is fine. It kind of deals with Morpheus trapping a bunch of the characters in these dreamscapes where they kind of have everything they want. And so it's Moon Knight then trying to fight Morpheus off and kind of solve this whole thing, vaguely relating to this, previous kind of arc of kind of standalone one-off stories where clearly there's something that is propelling all these, villains of the week into Moon Knight's life.
Yeah.
But we don't it's been kind of a mystery of like, who is it? How are these all things connected? So it's fine. This issue's certainly not bad. And there's, even last issue I thought was really good. There's a lot of good stuff in this series. I just think it's kind of running out of steam for me. That being said, as far as I'm aware, it's also quite close to the finish of this run.
Yeah.
I think there's only one more arc left after this one. And next issue 25 is like a big oversized issue. So I might give it one more issue. We'll see. It's also like if I drop this now, I don't have to pick up Moon Knight City of the Dead when that comes out, which I think is maybe going to be related to this one, and I don't really care about that series. So I don't know. I'm kind of back and forth on this. I might give it one more, but if it's not continuing to not do it for me, then I will probably drop it and maybe just read it when it comes to Marvel Unlimited later. So this one I'd give like a 6 out of 10. It's fine, but
Gotcha.
Kind of over it.
All right, and so for the last one that I've read today, it was the Amazing Spider-Man run, and for this one I read the first 10, and so far I've liked them. Oh man, what can I say? So it starts with him like in a field, and then it just like skips to him with Aunt May. And I guess something big happened. I'm not sure what happened before this run.
This is a big point of controversy with this run is that mystery it set up in the first issue. It was not from a previous run. That's like the whole first part of the series is figuring out like what did Peter do. That's the whole big question is what did Peter do.
Gotcha.
It took them over a year, I think, or just about a year and 20 issues before they answered that. So people got really pissed off that they had to wait that long for the
Gotcha.
for the resolution.
Gotcha. Okay, so I'm still. Okay. So
yeah, you're not missing anything. Yeah.
I'm not missing. All right. I thought this had to be related with something else. Okay. But yeah. So the beginning parts was all about Tombstone, which I thought was really good. Now I'm kind of reading into it, and it's switching more towards like Norman right now.
Mm-hmm.
And right now, I guess the cover of this next one I'm about to read is The Return of the Hobgoblin, is what it says.
Yeah.
But yeah, so far I've actually really liked this one. Yeah, I don't know what else to say about that. I guess I've read some of Superior Spider-Man, so I recognize some of the characters. Like the weird small girl who I forgot her name.
Weird small girl.
Yeah, dude, she's not weird, but she's like small and like it's who auto dated in Peter's body.
I have no idea who you're talking about.
Did you read Superior Spider-Man?
No, I haven't read Superior.
Oh, then you won't you have no idea what I'm talking about. Yeah, I really don't have a lot to say about this. I didn't know MJ was like seeing some dude.
That's part of the mystery. It's like because at the end of the last run, at the end of the last run, she was still with Peter, I believe. So it's like, yes, it's like, hey, why in 6 months did she like stop dating Peter, and how does she now have kids with somebody else in a 6-month time period that is biologically impossible?
Biologically, all right. So I should be lost in the sauce. All right, that's good to know.
Yeah,
that's good to know. Well then, yes. Well, regardless, I really like the art style. I like the art style. I've enjoyed the story enough so far, now knowing that I'm supposed to be lost as frick, kind of. But yeah, I'd give this one like a 7.5.
Yeah.
Out of 10, yeah.
So you're not actually that much farther behind me on this. I have read the first 12 issues.
Yeah.
I have one more issue left in the Hobgoblin arc. I think one thing I will say to this series, it's very easy to read. Like you can blast through these issues. They are not long reads at all. Mm-hmm. I have to disagree with you on the art. I think it's terrible.
Really?
Yeah. And no disrespect to John Romita Jr., he has been in this industry for like 40 plus years now. He has done a lot of great art. He's done a lot of in the 80s, his stuff was fantastic. I just think the way I don't think it has aged well. I think it doesn't really fit alongside modern art stuff. And so I'm always really happy when I see there's a guest artist, because I'm like, thank God I don't have to look at this art. So yeah, okay. Do you want me to tell you one of the other reasons why people hate this run?
Is it like super spoiler heavy?
Kind of, but it's more a spoiler for the universe and less for this specific run.
All right, go for it.
You will find out regardless anyway, because it kills off Kamala.
Oh.
Yeah, which is a really weird and dumb move, I think. At least, like, it's weird to do it in this series.
That's this series?
That's this series, yeah. That just happened.
I saw that on Twitter a whole bunch. I thought that was her own series.
No, that's this series that does that.
Oh, shit. Okay. All right.
So people are mad about that. I'm also kind of mad about it, even though I know it's like clearly it's just done so that they can bring her back with her new solo series around the time the Marvels comes out. I am a big fan of this character, so I think that's great. That being said, it just feels weird to do it at all, and it feels weird to do it in this series of all places. And so like it just feels kind of I don't know, disingenuous isn't the right word, but it doesn't feel like this is the right place to do that. And
Yeah,
I know
yeah,
it's
yeah.
kind of like a rite of passage for superheroes to die. I think this is Kamala's first time really that's happened. Um, maybe she died in Secret Wars, I don't remember. But yeah, I'm not a fan of that. And so apparently it's like right after where you and I are is apparently where the series just starts to really go downhill. I agree,
Yeah.
I've liked what I've read so far, but apparently it just really hits a nosedive. Okay, the last issue I read this week was Planet of the Apes #3. Yeah, to my surprise. So actually, okay, so fun fact, I guess. The only reason I started this series is because my dad really likes Planet of the Apes. So I was like, okay, I'll buy this issue I'll buy this for my dad. And then I was like, well, I have it, I might as well read it. I did not care about this series at all. I didn't think I was going to like it. I read the first issue and I thought it was amazing. So
All
I've
right.
continued. Yeah, I've continued picking it up. Issue #2 was a bit of a slowdown. It kind of just did a big exposition dump and not much actually happened. But I think this is a return to more of what I liked about the series. Um, it's just solid. Like it's really solid. And there's not a whole lot of action or anything. There hasn't been super a ton of plot development. It's essentially just like a couple of humans are trying to bring some apes over the ocean to I think it's the CDC, the Center for Disease Control, because there is a virus which has caused this global pandemic, and it's just killing everybody. It's essentially just like all humans are going to die unless they can find a cure, and the apes are supposedly they think have the cure for this disease in their blood. So they're trying to research that and get a
Yeah.
cure. Meanwhile, there's a terrorist group called the Exorcitus Viri who are like, no, the apes caused this virus. We need to just kill all of them and then we'll fix the whole problem. So it's these these scientists and researchers trying to get the apes to the CDC while this terrorist group is trying to come and just kill them all. So next issue appears to be the big kind of standoff with the terrorist group. It seems like that's kind of the big fight issue is coming up next issue. But it's really solid. I didn't think I would like it, but I really liked it so far. It's written by David F. Walker, who I had no idea about before the series, and art by Dave Wachter. The art's great. I just think overall it's really good. I'm into it. I would give this one I'd say I'd probably like an 7.5 or an 8 out of 10 for me.
All right. There you go.
Yeah. And that wraps up the first episode here of this new interpretation of Earth's Mightiest Comics. Thank you for watching. Next week we will be back. There's some big stuff next week. This was kind of a lighter week, but there is some massive stuff going down in the world of comics next week, including Jonathan Hickman's return to Marvel with Ultimate Invasion #1, which also kicks off the new version of the Ultimate Universe, and also a new Incredible Hulk series written by Philip Kennedy Johnson, who is probably best known currently for his work on Action Comics. There's some big stuff coming up next week. I'm excited to talk about it. In the meantime, you can do all the normal YouTube stuff like liking and subscribing and commenting what you think about the current comics that have been coming out. Other than that, thanks for watching. And hopefully we'll see you next time.